Thank you so much. Waklisad, greetings. Ditchwaitis, good day. Honorable Chairman or Chairwoman Fernández, Acting Ranking Member Obernolte, and members of the committee, I thank you for the opportunity to participate in this hearing to represent the Klamath tribes. Along with this statement, I have submitted written testimony that I request be included in the record of this hearing. My name is Donald Gentry, and I serve as chairman for the Klamath tribes. And I'm here today to urge repeal of the Klamath Tribes Judgment Fund Act of 1965 in support of S 314. This act exists solely as a remnant of the failed federal termination policy enacted upon our Klamath people in August 1954. The Klamath tribes is comprised of three distinct tribal nations, the Klamath, the Modoc, and the Yahuskan Paiute people. There are currently 5,700 members of our Klamath tribes, and our Aboriginal territory includes much of Southern Oregon and Northern California. On October 14th, 1864, the Klamath tribes signed a treaty with the United States, relinquishing our right to occupy a territory of nearly 20 million acres of our traditional homeland, and we reserved for ourselves 2.5 million acres at that time. By 1954, through fraudulent land surveys and disastrous federal policies, the Klamath reservation was reduced to 1.2 million acres, of which 882,000 were tribal trust lands. The last remnant of our homeland was stripped from us by the Termination Act of 1954, which ended our federally recognized tribal status. The termination period was devastating and disastrous for our people as a whole and for our individual tribal members, with abrupt discontinuation of services which management of our lands really provided for. It was devastating for us. We had discontinued health services, education, and the unmooring from a collective group caused by termination had significant trauma and impact on our people. Our tribal members faced, among other disastrous impact, increased health disparities that resulted in increased infant mortality and decreased life expectancy of our people. The United States acknowledged the failure of the termination policy in the 1970s, and the Klamath tribes was restored to federal recognition in 1986. In preparation for this testimony, I noted the subcommittee's goal is to protect tribal sovereignty and tribes' authority over their lands and their natural resources, while empowering tribal communities with enhanced self-governance authorities. Please let me tell you how passage of the Klamath Tribes Judgment Fund Repeal Act will allow the full expression of the tribe's sovereignty and self-determination. After Congress passed the Termination Act in 1954, the Klamath Tribe still had a number of legal issues that had not been resolved. In 1958, the Executive Committee of the Klamath Tribes passed Resolution 1958-5, which resolved that the Secretary of Interior would be authorized and requested to establish a separate fund in the amount of $350,000 from any available Klamath tribal funds for the purpose of providing a reserve of necessary funds for prosecution of the Klamath tribes' claims against the United States. This was in reference to docket 100 claims pending before the federally established Indian Claims Commission. During the post-termination era up until 1982, the Claims Committee oversaw a number of legal actions, and these funds that resulted from the positive actions survived and were replenished over time. I see my time's running out, so I'm going to try to close here as best I can. The Judgment Fund Act requires that our funds to be distributed in a way that's not at all helpful for us, that limits our self-determination and self-governance to do what our members intend to do with those funds, and that's to distribute those funds to the 54 members that are remaining at this time. Repeal of this Judgment Fund Act will allow us to do that. So I thank you very much. for the opportunity and willing to answer any questions when appropriate.
Thank you, Chairman Gentry. And I would also note that for all the witnesses, your written testimony has been received, has been distributed to the committee, and is part of the record. The chair now recognizes the Honorable Cheryl Kennedy, who is chairwoman of the Confederate Tribes of Grand Ronde.